And we're back. Jeez, it feels like absolutely ages since I was last doing this. But I'm glad that it all worked. I'm glad you're all there in the chat. One stream to the next. This is like the first time I've ever tried anything using the YouTube live streaming platform and it actually worked. So that's relieving, to say the least, but it's good you're all here. Up the Dolphins, a lot of people are saying. Yeah. It's hard. I mean, I like both these teams anyway. But yeah, I reckon it's so hard to split because, as I keep saying, Dolphins on paper are better for sure. No doubt about it, but that home advantage does mean something. I'm just going to look to see if there's any last little changes that the sides have put in. We've got Mark Nichols coming on to start at lock. So Dolphins trying very much a power game then through the middle. He's not exactly a ball player. Is Mark Nichols, so they're going with three front rowers. Pushing Kenny Bromwich to the bench. Jeremy Marshall-King stays on the bench. But those are the only changes. So, yeah, it's I think a lot of this game is going to be determined in the centre battles. You got Dane Gagai and Bradman Best against Hammer and Herbie. That's superstars, you know, that's Origin caliber players playing there. So yeah, this is like this as good as the build up for Spoon Bowl was. It's hard to get a game with more on the line than a game like this, where the winner plays finals, the loser goes home. And of course, as Jordan said in the chat, if there's a draw, it is Canberra Raiders time. Krishan, I got all my Dolphins merch on. Yes, you mentioned earlier, even though he's not going to the game because he broke his hand. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your hand, but good to hear you're backing the Finns. It is Finns up for Krishan. Yeah, Pete, maybe if Finns win, that might get Adelaide interested to bid. Yeah, well, I'm not too sure what's going on with Adelaide right now, but you know, beyond Perth, I'd have second New Zealand, but for Team 20, you know, I consider Adelaide a decent option. Knights overrated, only because I don't like Tyson Frizzell. But why don't you like Tyson Frizzell? What? Because he left you? I mean, he was a good player for you guys. He was a New South Wales Origin back rower for you guys. Oh, Tyson Gamble. You're probably talking about Tyson Gamble. But if you mean Tyson Frizzell, that's unfortunate. But Tyson Gamble, I can understand a little bit more. I mean, he intentionally goes out there and tries to be a pest, which is, you know, make of it whatever you will. It's fair enough. It's fair game. But yeah, you won't be likable. As Jordan says, shout out to whoever does the NRL fixturing for organising this to be the last game on Sunday before finals. It's quite the miracle that it's turned out to be this game. And 2 years in a row, of course, we had Rabbitohs and Roosters last year, where teams are playing for a spot in the finals. It's a real far cry from what we've seen in years before, where the vast majority of the final round is just nothing games. So it's good. It's good. And Red Vodka says he is a traitor. Oh, so you was talking about Frizzell. Damn, that's is that sort of a popular opinion amongst Dragons fans? I'm curious. Oh. We've got the cameras cut out. You've seen Garfield. Oh, and I'm back. Wonderful. Let's see what else we got here. Fins up. Other casters, only Marnie could be a pest with it being okay. Well, Marnie as well obviously goes out to be a pest for sure. Something about being a little spine player. They've got big mouths. Hammers up. A lot of teams playing for Southern, says Danny. Yeah, 100%. That's what's been so good about this round. I mean, I think every game has had something about it. So, yeah, have there been any dead rubbers? Like, I guess you could call that a first game between Broncos and Storm. The ladder wasn't going to change particularly from it, but even that, like, you know, there's a rivalry there. There's two on paper good teams. For that to be the dead rubber. Is pretty impressive. Krishan's happy that Cody Nikorima is playing. And Jordan there doxing me. First name the, last name Leaguie. He's got me. You got me. You're going to know my address next up. Jeez. But yes, no, they do know that my actual name is Dylan Jordan. So, as Tiger says, last year Sharks played Raiders. I'm trying to think. They did, didn't they? Yes. At Shark Park, I believe. Krishna says the ref tonight is Ashley Kelvin. Yeah, Ashley Klein. I like Ash Klein. I think he's a reasonably good referee. I mean, he refereed in Origin. He's regarded by the refs as the best. So, yeah. Danny Leaguie lives next to his neighbour. That is not true. I want nothing to do with my neighbour. I don't live anywhere near him. Or her. Was this game scheduled to kick off at 4:05 or 4? Because I was under the impression it was 4, and I'm just kind of waiting around for it to start, but I'm assuming it must have been 4:05. Leaguie lives on Uluru. I do not. That'd be very culturally insensitive. If not for that, though, I probably would, because it's a very cool place. Although I don't know how good the internet connection would be. As we see the Dolphins round and a huddle with Christian Wolf there in the middle. Is it Christian Wolf or is it Tom Gilbert? Oh, there's Tom Gilbert. I thought for sure it would be a coach because of the way he was getting them up, but no. Tom Gilbert getting up his teammates there, and I'm feeling it. This is going to be a very, very good game. And of course, like, you know, with the likes of Jesse Brummett retiring, this could be his last game of NRL. And he's an absolute legend. He's one of the front rows that has dominated this last decade to find it. I was thinking if I was going to make a team of like the 2010s, my front row he's one of them. Probably Jared Royer-Hargreaves with 3 premierships would be the other one. But those two guys, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Jared retiring at the end of this year, but Jesse retiring's gone a bit under the radar, and this could be his last game. Jeffy says, Dylan, my money was on your name being Liam or Brian. I was nearly a Liam. Parents wanted to name me Liam, but my cousin, who was born a few months before me, took the name Liam, so I turned out being a Dylan. Jordan says, Leaguie, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for this game? As I said, the stakes could not be higher. It's a 10. It's a 10 for sure. I'm just glad that I get to enjoy this as, you know, a sort of neutral commentator, because the people at that ground would be terrified of what's to come. Danny, I don't even remember. Did Dolphins play finals last year? They did not, no, as Jordan correctly says. They were in the top 8 for the vast majority of the season, but no, did not quite make the final series. So the Dolphins walking out to what's going to be a hell of a reception. A sold-out McDonald Jones Stadium. I don't know how many of you have been to that ground, but it has a way of carrying an atmosphere. And you can hear the boos ringing out. Sure, did Dylan just reveal he's not a fan of the Knights or Dolphins? I've streamed pretty much every team as a neutral. As I've often said, I support the league a lot more than I support any given club. So, no, nothing revealed there. Oh, but you all seem to think I revealed it. You guys should know, I'm 2 steps ahead of you. You've tried to ask me some questions in the past to reveal, and I've answered very cleverly. There is absolutely no suggestion that I don't follow either of these teams. Hell of a guard of honor there from the old boys. And Adam Elliott screaming. They are up and about for this one. Danny says they have to nerf Thomas Hazelton because his baldness is too powerful. We're still talking about Hazelton. We've got another bald hero in this game, Felice Kaufusi. But do you reckon he can carry the same energy as Hazelton did? Jordan, my apologies. I forgot that Dylan's openly expressed his support for the Shanghai Sharks. If there's any other Shanghai supporters out there, shout out to you. I'm a day one Shanghai supporter. Danny, out of any team, the only positive video that he's done is about the Tigers. That's fair. That's true. I trashed the Broncos, although I think those are the only 2 teams I've made real individual review on, isn't it? Anyway, Newcastle and the Dolphins kick off. Dolphins will receive. And it comes down, and it is that man, Jesse Bromwich, potentially playing the final game of his illustrious career. John says, Dylan, when you go to NRL games as a neutral fan, does this mean you will wear a referee kit to the crowd? I've done that in the past. I unironically have worn a referee's kit in the crowd before. So, at times, yes. What the cows, are there clues in your world of vids? I certainly hope not. So Plath now does find the lock forward, Mark Nichols, and it'll be interesting to see whether they do try and shift the ball around, given that they don't have a traditionally ball-playing lock forward in this game. The board hero is Mark Nichols. That's true, yeah, him and Gifusi, I suppose. But he is more of a cult hero. Tiger says, Leaguie goes for the Antarctica Ice Blows under sixes. After the way you've dealt with me talking about junior teams in the past, I'm not going to say that I support the under sixes. Up the Knights or Dolphins, either way you're getting a mullet. Dean, I am not getting a mullet. Brother, we've got to move on. This hairstyle is staying. Tiger says you made a video on the Knights. Oh, that's true. And Rabbits earlier in the year. Tiger Walker knows my videos more than I know my videos. But yes, that's true. And Souths was definitely a negative video. Knights was there's a bit of both. Christian, what did I just hear about Jesse Bromwich? Yeah, it could be. I mean, he's retiring at the end of this year. For some reason, no one's spoken about it, but he has said that this will be the last year of his career. So, if they lose this game, it's the last game of his career. I assume he hasn't, like, I don't know, maybe officially confirmed it, but he said in interviews at the start of this year. Anyway, George says, Dylan, do you support AFL? If so, which team do you like? I do not follow the AFL, Sean, particularly. But my housemate goes for St Kilda, so I if anyone's going to win, I suppose it's them. Hammer looking menacing there out at centre as Jack Bostock takes a hit up. Christian, the NRL has not kicked on my NRL draw. Has not kicked off on your NRL draw. They have well and truly kicked off. We are several minutes into this game. Up the cast is your haircut staying unless you get 10 mil subs. Or unless it just grows. Whichever one of those happens first. Alex, most Bromwich way to retire possible. He wouldn't have it any other way. That's fair enough. He wouldn't want it to be about him. So Marju with the cornrows wrapped up by Herbie Farnworth. And the Knights starting in reasonably good field position here. Second tackle and they'll be up near the 40. No, Jordan, we established in the last stream I will not be getting any change of hairstyle for 1 million subscribers. So Adam Elliott now through to Leo Thompson as the Newcastle chant well and truly goes up. Man of the match? Cop-out answer, but I guess I'll go Ponga. Tiger Walkie goes for the Pacific Ocean fish over 40s. It's coming up with the most random names possible. Dean, I feel obligated to go for the Knights because it's 55 minutes to Broadmeadow. Knights home ground, yes. To keep on theme, I want to go for the Dolphins. I'll tell you what, I mean, your local area would be, 55 minutes, I guess it's not all that close, but it'll be popping up there in Newcastle if they get a win. Carl Anthony Towns. I think the Leaguie should pursue a career in the media rather than YouTube, as that's where the money is. Well, I mean, if I've said before, if any media organisations want to pick me up from this, we'll see what it leads to. Yes, Jordan's right, he has to start somewhere. Herbie, man of the match, is up the cows. Yeah, I like that shout. He was outstanding last week against the Broncos. So, as the Dolphins put a kick in, it looks a bit heavy, bouncing, and it does just about get over the dead ball line. I tell you what, there was not much in that. Fletcher races back and he beats his Newcastle teammates to the 20-meter line. Has to stop, but they will get a 7-tackle set here from the 20. Tiger, I tipped Knights, but I hope Dolphins win because at the start of the year I predicted Dolphins to finish 8th. I don't even remember what I predicted, and it's all there in video form, so luckily I'll be able to go back and find out. But I definitely think I would have predicted Knights in the finals. As Lucas carries it over halfway, and Adam Elliott rocketing into the defensive line there on the 3rd. Brayley through to Ponga, who does get through. He breaks that tackle. I thought I heard play on, but he's gone back to play the ball. A bit of confusion here. Ball does go to Tyson Gamble now. And Leo Thompson wrestling with Tavita Pangai Jr. Two very big men. And now it'll be the last. So ball in the hands of Phoenix. Crossland goes away to Ponga, who does get tackled. Nearly got out of a tackle there, but does die with it. Which is okay, not a bad place to turn the ball over. Danny got my Chihuahua. Welcome, my Mexican friend. Hell yes, brother. I realize now that that's the Mexican friend you were talking about earlier in the other stream. Tiger, there's no ladder prediction video on your channel. No, but at the end of my season previews for every team, I would be like, I think this team's going to finish in this position. So, yeah. So the Dolphins get a relieving penalty there from the high contact on Trey Fuller. But geez, Newcastle they had them pinned down that end. I don't know if it's just because people are still working their way into the ground. Definitely could be. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of traffic around McDonald Jones at the moment, but I could see some seats there. And they announced that this game was sold out ages ago, so that would be surprising. Tiger says react to them. Yeah, there'll be a video where I react to ladder predictions for sure. Danny says, now my friend Lebanese and Mexican. Well, half Mexican. Ah, right. Gotcha. So, Dolphins attacking now on the third. About 35 meters out. Lancaster, it's just that it's raining is all. I'd be surprised if that prevented a substantial amount of people from going to the game. And I can see a substantial amount of seats that are not taken yet. Apparently, Mark Nichols is down in back there. Sean O'Sullivan kicks for himself, but Adam Elliott, the lock forward there to scrap and capture the ball. Nichols is absolutely worse for wear. Caleb, whose dog is that in the background? Well, that's my dog. That's Coco, who's been on a few streams earlier. Good guard dog. As Newcastle get a penalty now. Is that the sleeper penalty, says Pete? I'm not actually sure. I was reading chat at the time. But just like in the first game, that's now a couple of penalties out of the opposition zone end, inside 10 meters, so just simple offside. Says bring her in. I cannot do that, unfortunately. It's cannot leave this door open. Kirshan, I can't believe the Pacific Championship is coming up. I'm super excited about it as well. It's one of the beauties of rugby league. Our grand final day, as Newcastle knock on, they get a bit cute with it there, trying to score points at every tackle. Yeah, our grand final day is not the end of our season. We've got internationals beyond that. So yeah, no, I'm excited. He'll keep saying bring her in. Okay, at halftime, potentially a cameo appearance. But, no, it's, I can't leave this door open. It'll be too loud. You'll hear the rest of the house. Look, Carl Anthony House, I'm new to NRL. Can someone explain what a knock-on is? Yes, sir. So, if you're carrying the ball and you drop the ball forward, and it specifically contacts the ground and goes forward, that's a knock-on. It's as simple as that. You've knocked the ball on, as in onwards, towards the opposition try line. So yeah, really it's as simple as dropping the ball forward. Tiger, saw an AFL YouTuber do something where they added a score of how far off the ladder predictions were. So for example, after the Tigers 11th, I would add 6 points, and for the Dolphins it would be 0. Yeah, I know English Premier League YouTubers have done that as well. That's the kind of thing I'll be looking to introduce into it. Dolphins attacking, they'll have one play left here. They were set up to the left. We'll see if they do go there again. Sean O'Sullivan back on the inside to Plath, who just pins the air back and is about a meter away. He had a lot of work to do when he got the ball there off O'Sullivan, so not a bad effort from him. Jordan, my favorite referee decision is right infringement. Anyone else agree? It's an outstanding one. Tiger, on the live ladder it says the Raiders are in the 8. Yeah, well, obviously they are. This is a draw, live wise, which Lancaster is hoping for. Christian, I'm super excited about grand final because it's the first ever grand final you're going to. It won't let you down, especially with the amount that they've spent on the likes of the Kid Leroy who will be playing. They seem to have gone all out this year. Good to see Carl Anthony Towns, an AFL fan, getting to the NRL. I take it you're an NBA fan as well, obviously with that name. But yes, no, any rules you want me to explain, I'd be more than happy to. Yeah, Pete was Fletcher Sharp from Cronulla. Not to my knowledge. I always assumed that he was just a Newcastle junior. But not impossible that he's from there. I'm trying to think if there's another Sharp from Cronulla, but I can't think of one particularly. And yes, Lancaster, I agree. Sharp does look the good. So much speed and good size. Once he bulks up, he'll be an outstanding winger. Well, and he did come through as a fullback, so yeah, obviously Ponga's got that spot locked down, but he can definitely be a very good winger. Ball put up from Newcastle, and Fuller is underneath it. Finds a little bit of a gap there around Jack Cogger, a bit more than a bit of a gap, and gets it up to the 35. Ball through the hands of Herbie Farnworth now as he takes it up over halfway, and the Dolphins have a heap of momentum now. Quick play the balls in behind the ruck, and they do get 6 again for a ruck infringement. Jordan will be happy about that. Jordan says he's from Cessnock, which is very close to Newcastle. Yes, that's John's brother's territory. That's impressive rugby league knowledge there from Jordan. So Max Plath gives it out to Sean O'Sullivan. They are set up through Fuller, but he sets back inside and is tackled. And yes, ruck infringement. So Hammer was it off to O'Sullivan. Avarillo, and it's tapped on from Farnworth. Isako ducks through a couple of tackles himself. Flirts with the sideline there, but not quite over it. Still got a couple to play with here, as Jesse Bromwich just takes a settler up the middle. And we'll see how they set up for this final play. Attack on the Knights line. Plath goes to O'Sullivan, and he does put a kick up, trying to find Bostock, who gets out in front of Sharp and does get the ball, but he will be held up here. So decent defense from Newcastle. That's good work. Lancaster, Trey Fuller is my favourite type of player. A long-time Cup veteran who gets a shot in the top grade and just kills it. The Cody Walker variety of player. The Damien Cook variety of player. Yes, no, that's a good genre of rugby league player. So now Newcastle, who have been defending for the vast majority of this game, once again tasked with working it from their own end. Chris Shard, apparently there's rumours of Daniel Saifiti going to the Dolphins. Well, I know he's going somewhere. I think the Dragons were briefly interested. They want to sign some middles. But, yeah, not surprised if he ends up at the Dolphins, especially with Bromwich moving on. So, short ball from Brayley to Crossland looked potentially forward, but all good. And Ponga will kick it on the last. And landed it very well, just outside the try area. Tiger Dragons choking finals is pretty sad yet pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to use the word choking because I think they did well to be in that position anyway to start with. But yeah, the loss to Parramatta is what killed them. And look how Anthony Towns violates poor little Tiger Walker. So Dolphins do cross the halfway. And they'll have one more tackle to play with. Max Plath through the hands of O'Sullivan, who puts the ball up. And Bostock does get up and does catch it, but will knock it on. They've clearly identified that there's an aerial advantage they have out there, as Ponga breaks through a couple of tackles and is caught by Jesse Bromwich. But not bad at all, and that it will be a 7-tackle set because it's regained off the knock-on. And penalty now for Newcastle, and you sense as the crowd get up. There's a bit of momentum changing there off the back of that Kalen Ponga run. They get a penalty out of their own end. Newcastle, that penalty was Kafusi has the worst haircut in the league. It's a pretty dreadful one. But I like the fact that he owns it. He wears it well. Tiger says, Leaguie, do you like Zinger boxes? You want to know something outrageous? I've not had Zinger box in my life. I take it though you recommend that I do. So Saifidi over halfway. Brayley through the hands of, I believe it was Gamble, to Leo Thompson. Phoenix Crossland through to Ponga. And Dylan Lucas out on the edge. He had a great game last week. So only on the third. They're making a reasonable amount of ground now through Adam Elliott. Elliott through back on the inside, tries to find Ponga, does not quite work, breaks down, but Brayley... Oh, it wasn't Gamble earlier, it was... Gamble's not playing, it's Cogger. Brayley now through Ponga, who will put a little kick on the inside. Fuller gets it in the in goal, but does find a way out amongst the charging defence. Danny says, Leaguie just committed an Aussie crime. Go get yourself one after the game. Right, KFC's not even Australian, mate. Kentucky is well and truly an American. So, no national allegiance there. Crossland got smashed. He sure did. Lancaster says, interesting to see Ponga ushering plays in the backfield. Hope is not being forced to play 1, 6, and 7 again. Well, Crossland did come through as a half, so hopefully, you know, he will be commanding the team around. But yeah, it's interesting with that dynamic there, how it'll all work. Tiger, oh, hey Phoenix, what are you doing this week? Oh, just crossing land, mate. As Hamiso Tabiafito forces Fletcher Sharp back towards his own line. Most Aussie things are better. But shush. Yeah, but Aussie KFC better than KFC. Fair enough. Roy Stone looking to come on with, looking like the Terminator, the way he's got those big shoulders and the steely look as Ponga runs it up on the fourth tackle. Plays it and it will be Cogger who puts the ball up. So very much set for set. It looked like it was going to be Dolphins dominating early, but you know they failed to register points, and Newcastle have wrestled it back. Here we go with the NRL puns again in the chat. They distract me, bro. I try to like focus on the game, and I'm like trying to figure out the puns. Tiger says, I heard the Red Rooster fridge started deleting. Poor Green Cobra, man. He's never going to live that typo down. So Kenny Bromwich coming onto the field, as well as Ray Stone, and according to Michael Ennis there, they've just changed all three of their middle forwards. So Greg Marshu with the cornrows, palming off a couple and finding a little pocket of space on the first, and on the first, and he will play it beyond the 30. Lancaster, this is the best kind of footy. Way too many points being scored these last few weeks. So seeing 20 minutes of teams just batting each other is a good change. I agree. We talk about finals intensity. This is finals intensity. Ball out the back now. The quick hands, and they do find Fletcher Sharp on the edge, who gets the best of O'Sullivan and slips over. But very good backline movement there from Newcastle. It's Cogger. They're going to try again now to the other side. Ponga cuts out, and the ball goes over the sideline. Ponga does get a little bit too keen there. A bit impatient, not prepared to, you know, build pressure. But it was good work from Fletcher Sharp, and you know, eventually Ray Stone was in front of him, but the slip is what got him. I'll read out Tiger's pun here. Tiger says, Fletcher is the sharpest tool in the shed. But, oh, it's a 2-in-1. But he's a Baker, the Fletcher Baker reference there as well. I'm impressed. Consider me impressed. So it's hard to sort of commentate set for set, 0-0, and make it seem interesting. But that's why, you know, it's good to watch the game while watching this, because it is an entertaining game. As was it Pete who said earlier? It was one of you said earlier. Oh no, yeah, saying that this is the kind of game that we want to see around finals. It was Lancaster who said that. JRP giving poor Tiger a little bit of a piece of his mind there. Danny, New South Wales 8 in a row now, trust. I assure you, Origin is the last thing on my mind with a game with stakes as high as this. So Raiders fans will be watching this very intently, obviously, hoping for an absolute miracle. And they're getting it so far with 20 gone. Frizzell, a little worse for wear. Lancaster, I'm glad it takes time to type. I was about to rap Plath lol, but he's amazing for a rookie. He is. He'd be one of my 2 favorites for rookie if he was eligible. I agree, and he should be eligible, but I say this every week. I think he'll be in Origin next year. I said that in one of my videos. I think he'll be... I mean, yeah, I'm assuming that Ben Hunt might not play Origin next year. TC might not play Origin. I think Plath finds his way into a 14 jersey. Tom, oh my god. Tom likes hazelnuts, but he needs to fear the deer. Is that a Tom Dearden one as well? Guys, guys, I love the creativity. Don't get me wrong. Don't get disheartened when I just have no emotional reaction. But I'm just focusing on the game, bro. I'm about to ruin their hopes and dreams. Well, as we see Tyson Frizzell go off for a head injury assessment, that's a blow for sure for Newcastle. We haven't quite seen Hammer in space yet. We've seen the likes of Trey Fuller with a bit of room, but Dolphins haven't quite got the ball to him. Looking at Scopes, gosh, I hope it stays at 0-0. Do you support the Raiders, my friend? It would be very funny though, even just as a neutral, for this to be the outcome. Lancaster, I think DC and Hunt will retire from Origin, separated by at least a season, failing a disaster. Yeah, I'm assuming one of them probably will. Oh, here we go. JR Pete's engaging in it as well. The Finns might just get hammered. Ah, and DC says he wants to play one more Origin, says Danny. That is interesting. I did not see that. Alex, talking about Genghis Khan here. From Genghis Khan to Imran Khan, every great age in history has had someone with the last name reach great heights. There's always... Oh my god. There's always a lofty Khan per era. Look, guys, we have to end this here because Alex has just won. Alex has absolutely knocked that out of the park. That is absolutely outstanding. That is absolutely outstanding. As Hammer, with a little bit of room, approaching the try line here. Dolphins looking to register their first points. I can't get over a lofty Khan per era. That's brilliant. Jake Avarillo, Farnworth juggles the ball but does manage to hold on to it. Lancaster, that was better than solid punish. That was outstanding. Kenny Bromwich. Now with a little bit of stepping just before he gets to the line. On the fourth tackle, O'Sullivan gets all to Fuller, who does get through. And then we're going to crack eventually. And it is the Dolphins who draw first blood. They just have so many attacking weapons there, the Dolphins, and it was just a simple backline movement. Eventually a man was caught in space and you can't stop Trey Fuller from that distance out. Lockiness did jinx it, for sure. Tiger Walker, Trey, you hungry? No, I couldn't be Fuller. Well, he's, for want of a less Gen Z term, he's eaten after that try. So yes, he is definitely full. 4-0. Likely to be 6. I mean, it wasn't scored particularly far out. But this has, I mean, this has been an impressive start to this game. Oh, as I say that, Ashley Klein calling for a review here. Is this on Lemuelu, the obstruction? He's the only player who could possibly have obstructed anyone. The saying has initiated contact with Brody Jones, who does, he does get, you know, around Fuller. I don't think it would have stopped Fuller. I think that's harsh. But personally, I don't mind that call. I mean, it's a tough one, but I think that's the decision that you have to make. 0-0 again. It is. Tiger says, "Hey Tiger, are you a runner?" No, I am a walker. We ran out of NRL players to make the puns up. We're moving into people in the chat. So penalty Newcastle. There's a turning point, and the jinx is it was not on. Lockie Ness is he's still on for the 0-0 draw here. As Brody Jones there lifted up into the air. Fletcher, you sure look sharp, says Caleb. I don't want to encourage you guys. They're not bad, but at the same time they are awful. No, but as I say, I love the creativity of them. And Lockie Ness, yeah, absolutely buy a lotto ticket after that. I think the rugby league gods heard your call. So Ponga now, there's a little bit of space. If Dolphin went down, I think Ponga was probably wise to not run back into that hole. Tex, let's go. A bit late, but still 0-0. Is that Tex of Tex Hoy fame? I doubt that is Tex Hoy, but obviously former Knights player. Was that a jump from the in-goal? No, not quite. And he will be forced back into his own in-goal, as Mason is back. Forcing a drop out there. And the Knights now, knowing that they got away with one there, are looking to make sure they don't let that opportunity go to waste. Caleb, in most nights, the Dolphins like to swim. They do. They sure do. So drop out now. They're winding the clock down. 3-2. They just about get it in time. And they do go long. Well, bouncing away a bit from the Knights. Saifidi does hit it, but not on much momentum. Newcastle, they went long. Praise Wayne. Indeed. Yeah, no, the more long dropouts, the better, in my opinion. Not a fan of the short at all. But anyway, second tackle, Newcastle very much on the attack now through Dylan Lucas. Danny straight up says Nathan Cleary. Jaden Brayley through Elliott. Cogger short to Brody Jones. Nearly gets there, but not quite. Brayley, they try the crash ball again through Saifiti. Doesn't quite get there. And we got one more left. Cogger through to Ponga, who steps on the inside. Little bit of room here, but hammers right on him. Dumps it off to Cogger. Finds Dan Gagai. This is very off the cuff now. Brody Jones, who finds his way into a little bit of room there. And I thought he nearly got an offload, but no, not quite. Goes to a Dolphin. Danny, what are your thoughts on how much Sam Walker wants? I reckon I wouldn't... We have to adjust it because the salary cap's gone up. He's definitely worth upwards of $1 million. I'd be giving him 1.2. 1.3 is where we start getting into, you know, tougher areas. But I give him what he wants for as long as he wants. He is a generationally good halfback. So a poor offload there from the Dolphins. They may lose ground on this play. Avarillo. Lancaster, I think Walker would have gotten the $1 million he wanted if not for that injury. To be honest, I think he'll still get it. The Roosters are a team that planned their cap very well. I mean, that's how they can afford all these stars. I think that they would stick to the plan that they originally had and potentially get a longer deal for the good faith that they've shown there. As the ball goes over the sideline, not a 40-20 or anything. Just give the Dolphins a little bit of a breather. Tiger Walker, you know what, Ryan? It doesn't matter, son. Text finals footy a week early. Let's go, dude. It sure is. It sure is. And after the Spoon Bowl, I mean, we're treated to 2 monumental games in the final round. Danny, that's Cleary money. I'd say million. Yeah, I mean, we have to, as I say, adjust it to the new salary cap that's gone up. So what we used to call $1 million player is now a $1.2 million player. I don't know the exact proportions, but it's more than $1 million. So that is, you know, what I'm suggesting. Adam Elliott plays it on the last. Ball will come up through Jack Cogger. And they're chasing, not super intently. And Fuller does catch it safely. And they're looking to force him into the in goal again, but not quite. Ben, Royce, and Heimel love hunting. What about Jaden Hunt? You forgot poor Bronco Jaden Hunt. Yes. And they've ruled that that's just an error from Jack Bostock there. Are they going to challenge it? They will. Let's see what we get here. So they're saying that ruck interference, says Jack Bostock. Is there a Newcastle? There's a hand there. It's tough. I mean, it looks to me like he's withdrawing his hand rather than pushing the ball. They say looking at all available angles, which often means that it'll be ruled inconclusive. But it's risky to put in a challenge this early in the game. So they've ruled unsuccessful. I didn't talk there originally because I heard them say no clear action. I thought they might say that's inconclusive. But they've ruled unsuccessful, and Dolphins in a game like this with stakes like this, putting in that challenge that early. Jack Hetherington was super up and about. That's a big moment, particularly if they get points here. Tiger Walker, Thomas, you do it. No, I can't. Thomas can't there. Chant, where are you at a Town's End? JRP, he clearly dropped the ball. Yeah, I think the Knight was just withdrawing his hands. Gagai steps on the inside and nearly gets through, but it is a legs tackle from Trey Fuller there. And Brayley goes himself. Good defense from the Dolphins. Gagai through now to Hetherington, the big man on the line. And they do get 6 again. They could not want a better opportunity to register first points. Cogger all breaks down a little bit there, and he just takes the tackle. So Cogger now, they will put the ball in the hands of Ponga, who goes back to Elliott. On the third, Brayley out to cross, and they're trying to go quickly, and geez, Dylan Lucas nearly found a way through. Ponga off a quick play, the ball finds Adam Elliott, and there's the try. And McDonald Jones Stadium goes up. Adam Elliott goes up. And it is first points to the Newcastle Knights. That's Kalen Ponga. That's Kalen Ponga. Off the quick play of the ball. Picking it up, dancing it around, identifying that the Dolphins had rushed up and that there's a gap, and getting it out. Cut out ball to Adam Elliott, skipping past Matt Croker. That's what they need him to do. That's what they need him to do. It was a great first try. You could tell the eyes of Plath and Marshall King were on Matt Croker. And Elliott just had no one in front of him. So it is Newey first try. It is no longer a 0-0 draw, yes. I don't think that there was anything wrong with that. I don't think we'll see it taken off him. Danny, I don't actually think it was an obstruction, by the way. The other one earlier with the Dolphins, I mean, I think that that you have to rule that that's an obstruction, personally. If they ruled that wasn't an obstruction, I mean, the media would be blowing up galore on Monday. Imagine NRL 360, Buzz Rothfield, saying, that's cost the Knights a position in the finals this year. Well, Braith, I mean, seriously, it's not good enough, Braith. The bunk have got to be better. Earlier in the season, that was an obstruction. They would go nuts for it, so it's the right call, I think. Ponga puts the ball between the posts, and it is 6-0. Off the back of a Leaguie Buzz Rothfield impersonation. Buzz will toss his cards, no doubt about it. Real, says Tex. More hate to the more bunker, yeah. Yeah, no, they would, they'd be tearing into them no matter what. So, it took nearly half an hour, but we had our first try in this game, and the standard has been very, very high. That bunker is so overhated, I agree, 100%. And not only that, but whenever anyone wants to criticize it, there is no shortage of people willing to point out the problems, but no one has a solution. Like, truly, like, next time you hear someone talking about the bunker, think about that. No one has a solution. So what's the point of giving that criticism? Anyway. So Tyson Frizzell past the HIA confirms the sideline reporter there, Eloise Sawyer. So good news for Newcastle off the back of their opening try for this game. Brayley through Adam Elliott. And not the best kickoff set from them, but it'll be okay. Ponga will take the final run up near the halfway line. It's alright. And Cogger puts the ball up. So still a lot of empty seats in that crowd, I have to say. That's a bit disappointing. Dre Fuller hit hard by Hetherington. Danny, they're going to be complaining about how that wasn't an obstruction. As I say, they complain about anything, but to be honest, I think the call that the bunker made was the right call. And the less controversial call. So Farmer taking it up near the halfway line, approaching it on the fourth tackle. We'll play it for Marshall King. Stone through, and they do get the ball out to Hammer, but Gagai intent on just shutting him down for this game. Lancaster, I do think the bunker would be improved by making it a specialised position rather than a rotation from on-field refs. They got it right here though. Yeah, I made a video a while ago about why we need the bunker so much, and I did suggest doing that. I think that's the only constructive suggestion that I've heard people make, and while I do think it would improve the situation, I don't think it would solve the problem. If you perceive there to be a problem, it might improve the quality slightly, but yeah, I think it would be less of a change than people estimate it would be. And yes, Danny's correct. They want to complain either way. I mean, they want to sell papers. They want to get people watching, and that's what controversy does. So I have to say it's something that I, in my career as a content creator, have faced already and will continue to face. I could make vastly more controversial videos. I could make more clickbaity videos. I could make negative videos. I could be disparaging of players and get way more views than I do, but I choose not to, and I'm much happier in that choice. So Dolphins here, you'd think they want to be responding before halftime. Going into halftime with 0 on the scoreboard is always a bit demoralising. As we see Wayne presiding over it. Good run though from Trey Fuller. So through Sean O'Sullivan. Good kick into the corner there on the fourth. It won't go dead, so Ponga does have to play at it. And he will return it to an oncoming defensive line of Dolphins. I mean, yeah, it's why I sub to you, to be honest. Thank you. The Oz actually care about the sport of NRL. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I'm glad that shows through in what I do. And yes, Pete Wayne is well and truly scanning, observing. So through Brodie Jones now takes it near the halfway line on the fourth. But the minute's just ticking away, and just like the Dolphins in the set before, they will kick on the fourth tackle, forcing Fuller into the corner, who is hammered, and have ruled that that's a penalty for high contact. Jeez, there could be a bit more in this. If this was high contact, it was forceful. He was rushing at him. Lancaster, it's good to see that we haven't seen much of the Ponga super decoy plan today. He's got a lot of ball today. I agree, the put ball in his hands. Yeah, that's a tough one, I reckon, on Frizzell. He ran hard. He pinned the fullback in the corner there. But it won't be too bad anyway. Not a huge kick for touch, obviously, with that angle. Bostock will tap it and go. So Marshall King in at hooker, and he's so important to them. They are a substantially better team when he plays there. So we'll see whether their attack sort of clicks into gear, as he does run himself in behind the ruck. Ray Stone now in it. At hooker to replace him. Ball through O'Sullivan, Avarillo, and they find Herbie underneath them. Caleb, again, not going to read that out because that is super clippable. Yeah, that would be so clippable. Ball now, Sean O'Sullivan, who is very much... he's touching the ball on nearly every play. Now through Tabuai Fida. Does find a little bit of space. Gets away from one, but not quite the other end. Locked down there by Gagai. Ball gone up. Caught by Marju. Lancaster got Herbie. He's too good. Massive loss for Brisbane. Massive win for Finns. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm amazed when he was off contract that he wasn't pursued harder by like top clubs. But he landed at the Dolphins and he's made an absolute home there. Ponga stepping back inside now. And Hamiso, they just haven't found a way to get him clean space. And I think that's down to Dane Gagai, the incredible defensive experience he has in that centre position. Just shutting him down. And if this is the halftime score, then that's an absolute pass mark for Dane Gagai. So we're inside 5 minutes to go in this half. Bostock trying to get it out of his own end, but the Knights are well and truly up for this. Yeah, Pete, they had to let him go. Why, Broncos, why? Well, yeah, they let him go to re-sign the likes of Cobbo and Stags. I think this season has shown he's probably better than those guys. Did they make the right call? So Max Plath charging in behind the ruck through the middle. Gets his head through, but not a meaningful line break. And Marshall King will give it to Sean O'Sullivan. Ball up, Ponga, man underneath it. He finds Sharp wrapping around him. So I think Newcastle would be happy to just see out the rest of this half. I think they'll play conservatively. I think they'll focus on getting to their kicks and just making sure that the Dolphins stay to 0. But what a finals intensity first half it has been. Lancaster Stags had a great season, to be honest. Probably his best outside of last year. I don't disagree. I just think Herbie has been outstanding. So an error from Newcastle there. And that just opens up the door for the Dolphins. I said they would play conservatively. I said they'd focus on getting to their kick. They did not do that. Tiger Walker is back. Hello. So opened up the door here for Dolphins to potentially level this up by half time. Scrum clock ticking down. A try now, says Tex, would go crazy. It would. The crowd there wouldn't like it. I tell you that for nothing. But Dolphins fans would adore that. Lancaster, this is the kind of game where you genuinely consider a halftime 1-pointer. 100% it is. Not if you're on 0. You don't want to probably go in 6-1 down, but just psychologically speaking, teams don't do that. But anyway. So 2 and a bit minutes to go on the second tackle. Max Plath now with the ball through Sean O'Sullivan. Finds Lemuelu underneath him. Jeremy Marshall King gives out to Stone O'Sullivan, and rushing up defence there from Bradman Best shuts down Jake Avarillo. They do attack that side though, where Bradman Best has left the gap. Phoenix Crossland, they do get fine with outside him, and Ponga tackles Isako over into touch, but the ball gets away from him, and that is wrapped up by Matt Croker. I tell you what, that was good from the Dolphins, right? So what happened there? Brandon Best rushed up, shut down Avarillo. They specifically went exactly where Brandon Best was through Herbie Farnworth. Fletcher Sharp here in a bit of room after a good Ponga run, and Cogger knocks it on This is absolute. This is awful. This is awful. Tip footy stuff. Bradman, is that really your best? Nothing wrong with what Bradman did, although I know you're obviously making a joke. It was outstanding work from Newcastle, and then Ponga finds a way around the Dolphins. That pass didn't quite connect, but Fletcher Sharp here, in hindsight, should have taken the tackle because Jack Cogger was not ready for that ball, unfortunately. Sharp wanted to go himself. Cogger was smashed there. So Dolphins, there is a minute to go. They will get a chance here. They'll get a set. Cobra's back as well. Isako with the ball. It's playing now in the hands of Farnworth. Yeah, Texas 1 pointer looking more likely. I don't think that they would. I think they'd try and go for the try. It just seems weird going in 6-1, but in terms of statistical advantage and such, yeah, that's probably what they should do. So 22 to go on the third tackle. They do find a way out to Max Plath. Only 15 seconds left. They probably won't get 2 plays in. Maybe they will. O'Sullivan across to Avarillo, back inside to Fuller, who's held up by Kalen Ponga. Will they play it in time? Yes, just about. One more. O'Sullivan puts the kick through, and it's knocked over the dead ball line by Bradman Best. What a first half of rugby league. 6-0 to the Newcastle Knights. Both sides giving it absolutely everything. Somehow there weren't more points in that game. That was a very, very good half there from both sides, but obviously Newcastle in particular, to keep the Dolphins with all their attacking weapons to nil. Dane Gagai on Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow has just shut him down ruthlessly. And you can tell that that's exactly what Adam O'Brien said he should be doing leading into this game. So, yeah, this has been... I mean, only one of these sides is going to make the finals. If it's draw, neither of them will. But I think in this game they've shown that they both have the caliber to do so. It's been very good work. It's been very, very good work from both teams. Danny, I'm suing Tiger. That's I don't know if he's got the... I mean, I'm a law student, Tiger. If you want me to represent you, I'll do it. No, I'm not legally allowed to. Suing Tiger for copyright infringement. Lancaster, I'm going back through the chats earlier. Cogger is just more proof of how ridiculous the Penrith sister trademark is. His bag average at best this year was a grand final hero last year. Its systems are very, very important. And yeah, no, I wouldn't say I expected this necessarily. That's a bit harsh, but you know, I've watched Jack Cogger through his early days at the Knights, through his days at the Bulldogs, then he went to the Huddersfield Giants. His work at Penrith was notably the best in his career, by far. So it didn't surprise me to see him sort of return to this level a little bit. Tyke says, Leaguie, be my lawyer, please. It's illegal for me to do so, but I'll do it anyway. Okay, so I didn't take a halftime break in the last game, but I absolutely need one for this one. Leaguie needs a snack. Your boy needs a snack. The JSP says, better call Leaguie. Hopefully I'm a better lawyer than Saul Goodman one day. But yeah, so I'll be taking a brief halftime break, but I will be back very soon. Yeah, catch you all in a bit. Okay, I'm back. I'm glad that I specifically got right the muting of my microphone, because I just let out the biggest burp after a little gulp of water. Anyway, 6-0, Newcastle Knights. That was my pre-game tip that Newcastle would win this. Obviously, 6-0 is nothing in terms of a lead, but that first half, the way it went, it looks like points are going to be at a premium. That being said, we do see quite often teams really battle in that first half and then come out and there's points. Okay, Caleb wants cocoa. Bear with me. I'll go get her. All right. Just briefly, just while halftime is on, there's Coco, looking very confused. I haven't actually got her consent for being live on YouTube, but there you go. I hope you're happy there, Caleb. There's the Cokes. Got anything to say, Coco? Anything on the microphone? Nope. Nope. She's just confused. Okay, let's go. Oh, now she's attacking me. Danny says that's a beautiful dog. Thank you, I appreciate it. We're back. 6 points to 0. Caleb says rough. I'm trying to look at the body language of the Newcastle Knights here. They look determined. Haven't seen the Dolphins yet, but they do look pretty determined, Newcastle. That being said, looking at Felice Kafusi, head down. He's got a fair bit of determination in himself. Lancaster, sadly, I think if this keeps up, regardless of who wins, they'll be knocked out. This seems like a replica of last year's Knights versus Raiders final, where it take everything out of the winner. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that comparison at all. It does have a bit of that feeling, but obviously there's an entire half to go. You know, we don't know how these teams are going to come out. One of them could completely fold. Caleb, dog is the best. Bradman's dog, best. Nah, she's a good girl. She's a good girl. Danny says, Hammer, the game changer. Yeah, well, the game changer in the first half to me is Dan Gagai, because he has shut down Hammer, who should be the game changer. So, as long as he can keep up his defensive mindset and the way that he's shut down Hamiso, that could very much prove fruitful still throughout the second half. So Newcastle do run out. True, but Hammer better. Yeah, Hammer is a better player. Is he a better centre? I don't know. I'd say probably not. Is he a better defensive centre? Certainly not. So 40 minutes left in the NRL regular season. Can you believe it? Can you believe how fast it's gone? Newcastle leading the Dolphins. It's all on the line. Do we want to see an early Dolphins try and then let them ride it out at 6-6? Get the Raiders fans as well on the edge of their seats, hoping that one of them, that neither of them will win that game. Caleb says time flies when you're having fun, and it has been a fun season. Dolphins kick off. Ball will go down to Jack Cogger, who hands it on to Jack Hetherington, the big front rower. Tex, when an elite centre is paired up against the Hammer, he shuts down low key. Yeah, well, Gagai's certainly done that job on him now. But that's because Hamiso's not a centre, he's a fullback, in my opinion. Gagai got that old man strength of 13 years of centre positioning. How are we going to struggle with that? That's exactly what we saw in that first half. That's I truly think that that's 0 on the Dolphins. I mean, obviously, the Dolphins have a whole team, but I think if Gagai doesn't do as good a job as he did, it would not be 6-0. And you both, Danny and Caleb both mentioned that it hasn't been a fun season for Tigers. Yeah, no, fair enough. But compared to the last 2 years, it's been a better season. Fuller catching the ball there out about his 10 metres, and he will get to roughly 15 out and is taken by Hetherington and Matt Croker. Isako, who we haven't quite seen him, in full flight. But that's been symptomatic of just this game in general. It hasn't been very open. So 40 minutes left in the season of one of these teams, unless we get Golden Point. We'll see them looking to spend absolutely everything they've got left in the tank. Max Plath hitting it up on the 4th, and now we get one more. Lancaster, it hasn't been a fun decade for the Tigers, that's true. But I think they'll be back in their rightful position of 9th next year, poised for finals in 26 IMO. Yes, I agree with that. I agree with everything you said there. In fact, I think I said something to the effect of that in the earlier stream. Caleb says Dylan Anders is on, so Anderson, and so is Leaguie. Yes, sir. The gate guy forced backwards now through cornrows. Greg Marju, he gets a fair few post-contact meters there. And a suggestion of 6 again. And it is 6 again from Kenny Bromwich there. So Newcastle will be in very good attacking field position if they can hold on to the ball for the rest of this set. Matt Croker through the back to Crossland, who finds Dylan Lucas underneath him. Dolphins are desperate, says Danny. Well, there's too long left in this game for them to be playing desperate. Cogger finds Ponga now underneath, stepping around away from Plath, but cannot escape Ray Stone. Cogger out to Crossland. There was a temptation there to kick. Brady Best wanted the kick, but doesn't get it. Goes to Lucas instead, and they'll go back to the other side. Cogger, little grubber now, near the posts, but it's taken by Sean O'Sullivan, who's wrapped up by Tyson Frizzell, forcing a dropout. Not forcing a repeat set, because you can't call it a repeat set anymore, because it just isn't, with the way teams go short. But, well, admittedly, with the Dolphin side, they tend not to go short too much, so we'll see. Caleb, he's streaming all finals games but the grand final. Cannot commit to that for a number of reasons. I don't know where I'll be. At various times, I'm actually having a jaw surgery on Thursday, so I don't know if I'll be in a state after that to be streaming on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Cannot commit, but you'll see it. You'll see the thumbnails around on YouTube and all that. You'll see it announced. So yeah, I'll do a community post or something. Brayley running himself, and there's another 6 again here. I back Newcastle to score a try here. I think they will. Through Matt Croker. Thanks, Caleb, for good luck with the surgery. And I read Lancaster's comment after this attack. He said Cogger with a bit of a nose through the line, but is tackled. Ball out to Ponga. They haven't quite got the numbers out there as Ponga steps around. Good defense from the Dolphins. They are matching up to them. Oh, but Ponga steps around and it's Brodie Jones. Kalen Ponga is absolutely dazzling them. And I'm a guy who doesn't praise Kalen Ponga all that much. A few years ago, I had an unpopular opinion that Ponga's an, quote, average NRL fullback. I thought there were 8 fullbacks that were better than him and 8 fullbacks that were worse. But I do think differently that now, and look at this, the number of Dolphins that he beats and finds Brodie Jones, who, might I say, if any of you are very committed Leaguie viewers, I said that the key underrated player for Newcastle is Brodie Jones in the run into the finals, and there we go. The try that might just get them there. 10-0, soon to be 12 most likely. I'll read what Lancaster said earlier. I predicted in Sharks last set before half time that if they scored, they'd run away. If Knights manage it here off the repeat set, which they obviously did, I could see the same, but I don't think they will. I shouldn't have read out that last bit. It would look like an epic prediction from you. But 10-0, and now the next try scorer becomes utterly vital, utterly crucial the way this game looks. Tex says he thinks Dolphins still win. That's bold from 12-0 down. But fair enough. Danny says next try wins it. Yeah, I back that. I'm just making sure you guys. I assume you guys can see me and all that on YouTube. It's looking a bit weird. No, okay, it's all good now. Cool. Okay, this is almost water. No, that's just because there's a delay between when I do it and when you see it. I promise you, Caleb, I'm doing this live. Cal says up the Dolphins. That's a new name in the chat. Good to see you here, mate. But yeah, as I said, and as Danny said as well, next try is so important. So important in the context of this game. 18-0, they don't come back from, in my opinion. 12-6, they are right back in it and with momentum. Caleb's nickname is Carl. Oh god, we've got two Carls. Well, I think I'll stick to Caleb if it's all the same to you, just to differentiate between the two. Lancaster. Thing is, a 12-score gap is so small in today's game. 5 minutes of momentum can gap that, but then 12-0 is the biggest 12-point gap there is. It's true, 12-0 is the biggest 12-point gap there is. Yeah, it's a small gap, but in the context of this game, like obviously the way that this game's playing out can change, but 12 is pretty big, the way it's playing out here. Carl, I've been watching you for months, love your vids. Thank you, mate, I appreciate your support. That's always fun to hear things like that. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on to the stream. So Sarko now ran out of his own end. We'll see if the Dolphins up the intensity here. They need to. They do need to. They need to match the physicality. In fact, top the physicality that the Knights are providing. O'Sullivan, who's been the man really managing the Dolphins in this game, kicking from well in his own end, will get the ball beyond the around the 20, but the kick return sees Newcastle start the set on their 30-meter line. Lancaster, that's true. It's definitely a low scorer. I love it. I hope it stays this way. Not necessarily that Newcastle win, but I hope it stays a low-scoring game. Marshu bounces away and does find some space, but knocks it on. That is the most Greg Marshu run ever, you've got to say. A brilliant individual run and ends with an error. But he's filthy with himself. So now Dolphins will get a 7-tackle set starting around their 40-meter line. Chances like this do not come very much in this game. The way it's played out has not been high errors, and they get a 6 again now. So they need to be capitalizing on things like this, for sure. O'Sullivan back inside. Avarillo funds Kofusi. And yes, they've mentioned in the commentary, where does Cody Nikorima fit in? They do find Javier Fito in a bit of space now, because they've obviously got Avarillo out there, Marshall King out there, I assume. Ray Stone. It's quite a small looking side, really. Farnworth back on the inside, running at Dylan Lucas. Toes back. And we do get a knock on, and it's just play on. Knock on Herbie Farnworth. Lancaster Gagai covering hammer again. Timing, yes. Overpace is a rare truth in this game, but when it's true, it's very true. Yep, it's how you counter pace. Positioning. You have to make sure you're in the right spot. Cover less distance, but be in the right position, and that's what Gagai's been exceptional at so far in this game. It's Hetherington now running up, approaching the 40-meter line. You just get the feeling the side that completes better, gets through the sets, is the side that's going to win this. Danny says Dolphins are more physical. Yeah, they seem to have upped the intensity a bit, like I suggested they would, but enough. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything if you then knock it on at the end of the set. And that wasn't actually even the end of the set. Like, they had a few tackles left. So Hammer now hitting it up, not, you know, what you'd want him doing necessarily, and he's got up a bit worse for wear. Trey Fuller now trying to duck between Lucas and Crossland, but there isn't a room for him there. Marshall King continues going that side with Farnworth, who tries to skip on the outside at best, but Bass is doing pretty well himself to shut down his opposing centre. And Farnworth baying for a crusher there, won't get it. Avarillo runs up to the line through no career. Now they've got a bit of room here. And Tabiofito does step outside Gagai, but Sharp smashes Bostock and the ball has come away. That was very good defence from the Newcastle edge. Gagai was beaten, but just kept going at him, and eventually did get the legs, I believe, of Hammer, who gave the ball out to Bostock, but Sharp did very well. So let's see how this played out. It was just a straight knockout. So what a tackle from Fletcher Sharp. The one time Gagai slips up a little bit and Fletcher Sharp is right there. That's good work. Lancaster, Jesus, Gagai's face as wasted it was. He's fighting for his life, keeping Hammer in check. And there's still half an hour to go. But, I mean, if there's one man that's going to put in absolutely everything for the Newcastle Knights, it's Dane Gagai. Danny, I felt like if Hammer kept going, he had a better chance. It is easy to say with hindsight, but yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I don't think he thought he'd fully beaten Gagai. And to be fair, Gagai was holding on to his shorts, so, you know, if he hadn't done it, we might have been now saying, why didn't he go to Bostock? Caleb, Sharp is one of the future league superstars. That's a bold prediction, but I can't argue against it right now. So fourth tackle, Newcastle all of a sudden on the attack. Go out to Frizzell, and they will have one more play. Ponga at dummy half. Puts a little kick in behind the line. Off the uprights, Phoenix Crossland ended up with the ball. The ball is being grounded by Daniel Saifidi, but it's going to be a no try, I would assume. Lancaster says professional foul interference on the kick chase. Let's see what we have here. Do we have 10 in the bin? If this is 10 in the bin, if this is a professional foul, that could be the Dolphins season. It's Marshall King, not O'Sullivan. Does he change his line at all? The post sort of obstruct it a bit there. Moves across the line of the ball. This will be a professional foul. No more than penalty. No more than penalty. Text said, please don't ruin this game. No, a sin bin for a professional foul would not be ruining the game. The professional foul ruins the game. Professional foul is a sin bin. But there are degrees of it, and they've ruled that that is not a professional foul. He's committed an infringement for sure, but it's not done intentionally to gain an advantage. But they'll take the 2. This will be a crucial 2 points. This puts them 3 scores ahead. They got the 14-0 is not what you want, the curse. What's the curse? I'm not aware of the curse. I think 14-0 is the perfect thing to do. But yeah, you back him to get this pretty easily. Dolphins, I think, will probably be a bit happy that they've taken the 2, but it is, in terms of strategy and tactics, definitely the right thing to do, I feel. Newcastle fans all lining up to catch the ball behind the post there. That's always good to see. Pine lines it up. And it's between the uprights, and it's 14-0, and that is... We said the next try is crucial. We didn't see a penalty goal coming, but to be honest, I think it serves much the same purpose. I think just getting 3 scores ahead is huge. Lancaster comebacks always happen from 14-0 down. Really? Okay, well, let's see Let's see if that plays out. That keeps things interesting. But I've got to say, I don't think it will this time. I think Newcastle have got this. Newcastle, I don't know the stats on it, but it happens a lot. Then Stone Street has a better chance of becoming a better winger. I am a real gunny. He's 100%. I bet other than Galvin and Iro, he's arguably one of the best rookies this year. He's been very good. I don't think he's played consistent. Like, his performances have been consistent, but he hasn't appeared consistently, which is the problem. Knock on from Newcastle, and if we're talking about comebacks and curses from Lancaster, that's exactly what you would have thought. Krishan's favourite player is on the field. Who would that be? JRP, 25 minutes in doesn't look good for Finns, but you never know. This is a Wayne Bennett side. It sure is. Then they, golden chance to get points here. 100% it is. But see, Newcastle, this is where they have to aim up for defence. If they're a final side, if they fancy themselves to compete to any degree, you defend the big sets. You keep them out. And this is one where it's on the line. Mark Nichols, the lock forward, running up towards the line. O'Sullivan through to Nicarima, finds Kofusi. And yeah, his try scoring rate is remarkable, but you know, a small sample size of 4 games. So to me, that's not sort of rookie of the year conversations. Hamiso gets a bit of room as it is 6 again. They're going to try and bring him over the sideline, but it's 6 again anyway, so it won't matter. And it becomes a full penalty. What the Dolphins should do here is kick the 2. I firmly believe that. Firmly believe that. It's 3 scores anyway, bring it down to 2 scores. That they won't. They never do. And Nichols again in a replay of what we had about 30 seconds ago. J&K across to Nicarima, finds Avarillo on the run. He goes himself, but doesn't quite find his way through. Nicarima is well and truly playing in the halves, but I'm not sure where Avarillo is playing. Try Fuller out the back. They do manage to stop him, which they didn't in the first half. Now through Nicarima. O'Sullivan ducking across, wants Avarillo underneath him. Does get it, but Avarillo does not find his way through. And yes, Lancaster, I agree, and it's ridiculous that he's ineligible for Rookie of the Year. O'Sullivan across for Nicarima, who kicks on the 4th. Gagai knocks it dead, and I'll tell you what, Hammer was nearly on that, even after Gagai knocked it dead, but it'll be a dropout, and the Dolphins are getting into their work. They're getting into their work. Nicarima had his hands all over everything in that attacking set. Lancaster, Gagai does it again. This is Origin Gagai tier. He's always there. Do they go short? Do they go long? I think they're setting up for short. They are. Tap back from Newcastle. Dolphins are there. It's ended up in the 19 goal, and they're going to be looking at a penalty try situation. The Dolphins are blowing up about something. So it says knock on Dolphins. And then they're clearing penalty try stuff. So they can look at it with 22 minutes, 22 seconds left on the clock. Knock on Bostock, says Lancaster. Yeah, I wonder if sometimes they talk about major infringements overruling minor infringements. If it's a professional foul or penalty, I wonder if they'd say that overrules it, but I can't imagine it would. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear Bostock touches that, personally. Yeah, Caleb's right. Gagai did knock back, but then Bostock knocked on. Off Gagai, and then to me it's off Bostock. That's what they say. So Newcastle get the result of going short. It does hit Bostock. Peter, they're arguing for Disruptor. I'm not sure what they're arguing for. I think they're saying beyond this. They were thinking professional foul, but is the Dolphin offside picking it up in this position, which would then make it a penalty. Accidental offside, the rule. Lancaster, honestly, I'm really concerned that Hughes' 1 week suspension and points deduction is going to cost him the Dally M. He earned it. He did earn it. He was the best player this season. He won't win the award. 2 reasons. Number 1, Teddy had a big lead on him when voting went behind closed doors, and I'm quite confident that Teddy will win the Dally M. Even though, yeah, Hughes deserves it. But 2, the Dally M winner is never who you think it's going to be. And I've said this before in streams. Last year, everyone thought it would be SJ. It was Ponga. Year before, everyone thought it would be Ben Hunt. It was Hines. A couple of years before that, in I think it was 2020, like Jack Whiten randomly won the Dally M. He was not being discussed at all. He was not the best player in the world that year. 2021, where I think Tom Trbojevic won it. That's like one of the only seasons in recent memory where I'm like, oh, the best player in the league won it this year. Like, has Nathan Cleary won a Dally M? He's the best player in the world. Maybe he has won. I can't remember who won in 2022. Oh no, 2022 would have been would have been Hines. Yeah, no, he hasn't, says Caleb. Yeah, goes to show it's a flawed system. One day I'll make that into a video. But yeah, so I'm very confident that it won't be Hughes, even though it definitely should be. So Bostock on what will be the second carries it over the 40-meter line, and as long as they keep making solid meters, there'll be a chance at the end of this. Yeah, Tiger says Cleary should have Dally M. Yeah, but his teammates take points off him. It suits someone like, for example, Kalen Ponga. With last year, he's a superstar in his team. He's noticeably better than everyone else, so he'll always earn points. Dolphins going wide here through Nicarima. Fuller does find his way through, but drops the ball forward. It's a knock on. They're failing in the key moments here, the Dolphins. Rushes of blood. Lancaster. SJ absolutely should have won it. I cannot believe he won 0 points in that round at the end when he got man of the match for 9. I agree. It's a flawed system. And if you had a system where it's like a bunch of people get together and just decide a winner and vote who the best player of the season is, Sean Johnson wins it. The year before that, Ben Hunt wins it. You know, you get the right outcomes, I firmly believe. Not this system of points where it favors big fish in small ponds, and it values the performance of the best player on the field each week as the same number of points, when really that can vary substantially. Text, Dally M isn't something I count when looking at how good a player is or was, and it should be. I'm saying in theory, like the it's like the Ballon d'Or award of the NRL, you know. So it should serve that purpose, but I agree with you that yeah, it doesn't hold that much merit. Caleb, will Dom Dearden be in Dally M contention? I'm always very surprised at the leaderboards for Dally M, so it's very hard for me to say. I imagine he probably would be. I mean, he's being an outstanding performer for a side that's got a fair few wins, so. So on the 4th, Knights, you would think any try here absolutely puts the game away. 3 out to Lucas, up the Cows' back. Lancaster Dolphins are falling apart when it's going to need to pull some magic. They are. They've gone through, and Marju nearly gets there. It is good defense. Credit where it's due for the Dolphins. It's good defense. But, oh, and Ponga's shoulder is done. Ponga's shoulder. That thing was dangling. Oh no. He was absolutely flattened by Kaufusi. He was flattened by Kaufusi. And that shoulder is hanging. It's hanging. Oh no. Caleb Hill get 5th of the year. Munster, Luai or Dearden? Munster won't. He's missed way too much footy. If it's Dearden, it doesn't shock me. Galvin would probably get the most points, but he'll be rendered ineligible. So yeah, I guess I would say probably Dearden, but Luai's in with a shout. Lancaster, did Ponga just get shoulder charged by someone who got off a shoulder charge to play? I thought it looked late, personally. I don't know if I was watching it in slow motion, I can't really remember, but I thought it did look late and I'm surprised it wasn't called up. But we play on. Dolphins with the ball. Bromwich with the ball on the last tackle. O'Sullivan just throwing it out there and hoping. Herbie through the middle, does kick for himself. And Ponga able to carry the ball in that hand, which is good. And battles past a couple, but is tackled in the in goal. And Hammer's just holding on to him. There's a little bit in that. So Ponga's arm looked okay. Hopefully that was just a burner for him. But considering that was the 5th tackle, it was a really poor last tackle play. The ball was in the hands of Jesse Bromwich, then Sean O'Sullivan, who just throws it out wide because why not? And it took a little bit of individual brilliance from Herbie. Tex says Luai will win Dally M next year at the Tigers. I don't mind that suggestion. Bostock does clean this one up safely. Lancaster, wouldn't Luai picked up most of his points at 7. I don't think he'd be classed as 5'8" this year. Yeah, I know that's caused problems in the past. I remember Joey Manu was going to win Centre of the Year, but he played like 3 or 4 games at fullback. But anyway, yeah, I'm not sure how many games he's played at 7 off the top of my head. Herbie goes himself and his offensive touch. Newcastle's defence answered the question on only the 2nd. Jeez. Jeffy says Hammer bringing out his inner Khabib. That was pretty Khabib Nurmagomedov what he did there. But Newcastle's defence aiming up. I said earlier in this half, they have to aim up in defence. It's not good enough to just win this game. If they consider themselves to be a team that can make an imprint in the finals, you have to defend well. And they've done that. Well, they're doing it. There's still 16 minutes to go, but they are doing it. They're answering the call. Danny, I'd put my money on Luai if we're good next year. But arguably, I'd put my money on Luai if you weren't good next year. Because I believe he will be a consistently good performer and there won't be other Tigers taking points off him. Fletcher Sharp running in behind the ruck. So they should really just be looking to play conservative, spend a minute of the clock in every one of their sets and get to their kick and defend their way to this victory. That's what I would be doing if I was them. I know that 15 minutes is a very long time in rugby league, but I think you have to back yourself. Ponga running up through the middle, jumps up, nearly catches it. The ball will end up in the hands of Bradman Best, and they're going to review it, but I think this pretty clearly was knocked on by Ponga. Danny, I say it would be good because Luai would be carrying us. I think Luai is with a shot, yeah. Newcastle really putting in a shift today. They are, but they'll be having flashbacks to last year when Ponga got a shoulder injury in the last week of the regular season to a late shot. I think Ponga's okay. Unless he's just relentlessly playing through the pain, I think it looked more like a burner. Because it was hanging badly, but look at him rushing through and contesting this kick. He jumps up, but I think surely he's knocked on there into Trey Fuller at some point here. And even then, what are they saying that that's knocked backwards? I think surely that's got to be forward into Bass. So really, I think what we're looking at is we know that this is a knock-on. We just don't know exactly when the knock-on occurred, which one it was. Up the Cows is given his team of the year. Edwards, Felt, Ramian, Crichton, To'o, Didden, Hughes, Fisher, Grant, Curran, Katoa, Nene, and Yo. Fair few Cowboys in there, to be fair, but no, that's expected. That's fair enough. I don't particularly have problems with that. Maybe, I mean, I do think Felt's been really good this year, so I won't take that off him. Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily, off the top of my head, disagree with many of those. Yeah, but you know what? Finns have to win. We don't know if they'll make finals next year. It would be better for Perth, NZ, and potentially Adelaide to see the Finns play finals. It would. I mean, they've still been very impressive, but yeah, what the record books remember is who made the finals. So, Lancaster, hard to say. Pungus had a really bad habit of playing through pain and injuries because they need him so much. Well, I'm hoping for the best. We manifest that his shoulder's okay. Marshall King runs in behind the ruck there. And Kafusi will take it up well over halfway. Tricks up, shot time, says Tex. Yeah, now that Lancaster mentions that about Edwards, I would have Tedesco at fullback, actually, for sure, in my team of the year. As the Dolphins 2 force the issue, offload, Fuller is filthy with himself, and Newcastle come up with the ball. Yeah, no, definitely Tedesco in there. Now Fletcher Sharp gets a little bit through the line. It was just, he got a bit desperate and it didn't come off at all. Danny, I prefer Edwards if he's healthy. In one game, yes, but in the form this season, I know I back Teddy. Because I think Teddy's overrated. I gotta say I don't agree. But anyway, that's not a conversation for right now. With 13 minutes to go in one of the biggest games of the season. Phoenix Carlson, Dolph, Tyson Gamble on. I don't think I've watched Newcastle for a couple of weeks. Does anyone know if they normally do that, or have they sort of hooked their halfback for potentially Campbell, who defensively is a bit better? So hit up through Jesse Bromwich. We may be watching the end of his career, guys. Remember, keep that in mind. Appreciate the legend while we can. Nicarima goes himself. Dummies, does make a few meters, but doesn't quite get through. O'Sullivan puts the ball up. Herbie Farnworth was signalling for it. It's on Marju, and he gets it safely. Bremen Best does get past Bostock, and now Ponga has to jump up to catch that ball, and he's taken high on the ground there. And then, Adam Elliott has taken exception to that. Yeah, it's hard to call that a high shot because it was literally on the ground, but it was a contact with the head. Let's have a look at this. He lines up. Oof. I think there could be more to this. In the last game of his career, J. Brom. Bang. And Adam Elliott, I mean, it's good to see him defending his fullback like that. Bang to the head. There's got to be... You can hear the crowd. The parochial Newcastle crowd. J. Brom is looking a bit worried. They're saying 10. Other fans. Let's see, he is being called out. Michael Ennis thinks he'll be sent off straight away. What's he going to say? In the bin. It's a sin bin. And that's got to be the season done for the Dolphins. Jesse Bromwich ends his career in any way that a front rower should. 10 in the bin. Lancaster, I love when enforcer props get sent in their final game. There's always something so fitting. Yeah, I just said that before reading your comment. For sure. Dolphins just got to... Knights just got to manage this now. Danny, you're mad about the best halfback in the current league. The best halfback in the league is Nathan Cleary. The best halfback this season has been Jerome Hughes, the form halfback. But Nathan Cleary is the best player in the world. But Danny confidently says it's not a debate, so I'm curious as to what he says. If there's a game tomorrow, I'm taking Jerome Hughes, but Nathan Cleary is a better player than him. So Newcastle challenging here. It does look like there's Dolphins' hands around that ball. It's hard to say. If they're going to say no strip. Caleb's given his team. Just looking through any that are necessarily different to earlier. Carrigan at 13 is an interesting one. But is this your team of the year or is this your dream team? I take it team of the year because the likes of Felt probably wouldn't be, with respect to Carl Felt, probably wouldn't be second best winger in the league. Yeah, as I say, Teddy would absolutely be my fullback, and Locke wouldn't be Carrigan. They kick up play number 1 to try and find Hammer, and they force a dropout, so that's fair enough. Lancaster reminds me of when Jared got 10 in his 308. It was milestone for the Roosters. It was written in the stars, of course. Up the cows, how daily. Yeah, I have you know, I was out there yesterday at Olympic Park cheering him on, but he's not a top 2 winger in the league. We know this. Danny, I know. I'd much rather have Cleary on a team right now. I'm sorry if that's outdated. No, it's fine. They're very different styles of players. It's just, you know, talking about current form. JP, best in the world is a rookie. Well, you might as well call out the rugby trolls. Nah, he's the best in the world, Cleary. Text, yeah, I trust Cleary in a game where my life was on the line. Yep, no, I tend to agree with that. So, it is the Dolphins, 10 minutes to go. That clock is just ticking down, and you've got to wonder, is it just a matter of getting that first try? The first try is the hardest try for them to get. Plath hits the line hard, but it is still solid defense from Newcastle. They go back to O'Sullivan, who'll put a big kick up to try and find Asako. Sails high up in the air. Was that 6 more? 6 more. Through now, Trey Fuller. Owen here with 12 would be an all-time great, says Tex. It would be pretty remarkable. Sean O'Sullivan through to Pangai Jr. Just takes a little settler there. Up the casters, Hoser found some form. He sure has. Nikorima across to Hammer. There's a bit of room there. I think he's got there. He was rolled onto his back over the line. But there we go. It has taken over 70 minutes. And finally, the Dolphins do get over, and it is Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow. Gagai, he does just get on the outside of Gagai, beats him, and they do well to turn him onto his back eventually, but yeah, I think he got there the first time. Did the hammer. Danny, I think Cleary the biggest X factor in the league. That's interesting. I can't agree with that, but it's hard to define what X factor is, so maybe that's why we disagree. If we're talking about X factor, to me, it's Tom Trbojevic, but anyway. Not a bad shout. So 14-4. Kick from the sideline. No guarantee that this will be 14-6, but really they need 3 tries. And they can afford to miss a kick or 2 in that time. Isako makes no mistake though. It is 14-6. Do we see the floodgates open here? You got to wonder if they had all their players on the field, you know, do they manage to get points, the points that they need after this? That's a good try though, and an outstanding kick. as Tex rightfully says. So how did Newcastle respond in terms of defensive intensity? Danny, when it comes to game on the line, I trust Cleary over anyone, really. Yep, no, clutch factor, I definitely think Cleary. I mean, he's shown that so many times in the past. His 2-point field goal against Parramatta, I've mentioned it before, in like round 2 or 3 last season, was the most clutch play I've seen in my life. So the Dolphins spread the ball, which they'll have to do very, very well at, considering they are a man down. Hammer caught there in the tackle. Referee's having none of it. Hey, that brother can make nothing out of nothing. She means something out of nothing? Yeah, he means something out of nothing. So Trey Fuller finds a little bit of room, but is taken down by Cogger. And we got a penalty here. Do we? No, I thought I heard a whistle. Through O'Sullivan. Pangai Jr. does get an offload to Plath. Gets an offload to O'Sullivan. Gets it to Jeremy Marshall-King. Back inside to Nikorima, and it's forward. Oh, boy. Man. Just quickly looking through Lancaster's Team of the Year. Also goes with Carrigan at lock. Back row is Nicker and Blore. I'd go Eli Katoa and Angus Crichton. But those are two good options for sure. JR Pete doesn't think that's a forward pass. I only got one look at it, but I'm inclined to say that it was. So Brevin Best clutching his head a little bit there, but it won't be for a penalty in particular. Aussie Edits is back. Hello. Adam Elliott running the ball up. They'll be able to soak up a lot of the remaining time here. Now Brodie Jones taking it over the halfway line on the 4th. Through Tyson Gamble. Now back through Ponga, who does still seem fine. But we'll see in the fallout of the game whether we get scans on that. Cogger goes himself, which is okay. That's not bad. It's a decent old place to turn the ball over. Max Plath is cramping up as Bostock goes himself. Lancaster, where's the Hetherington brain snap? I didn't see Desire saying tonight as well. Maybe you're saving it for finals. Try Fuller does get away from a couple, but he is wrapped up and forced back by Elliott and Frizzell. They're defending their way to this win. Third tackle, and they're still inside their 30. They spread it now across. Nikorima, as it breaks up a little bit, steps back inside. 4th on the 40. Now through Sean O'Sullivan. Back with Hamiso Tabuai Fido. But he is shut down. One last trick play. I don't think they really know what they're going to do. They spread it out wide. There's a bit of room out there. Farnworth with a kick back inside. Comes off Newcastle. Are they saying play that? Not play that is the ruling from the touch judge. There you go. If you, the Dolphins can't believe it. If you ever say that the touch judges don't do anything in games, I mean they do, and I've been a touch judge and I happily explain to you everything they do. But there's a call that they've made. Not play that. Up the cows is going. See you later. Lancaster. Oh, good point. Heather going to try and fist fight the goalpost after a Cowboys try. Yeah, well, I mean, I doubt he'll be squaring up to Jason Taumalolo, so I think the goalposts are the safest thing he can be going at there. So now you think Dolphins will get this ball back with about 3.5 minutes left. It's quickly running out. Adam Elliott through to Brodie Jones, and they are making pretty easy ground here now, up to the 30. And the Newcastle chant in full force at McDonald Jones, and they get a penalty. And they'll take the 2 here, soak time off the clock. Surely. Danny Badiris, they're showing on the screen, is screaming. They're going to tap and go. Okay. Lancaster says they score here and end it. The place would go wild if they score here. Leo Thompson runs up towards the line. Can't quite make it there. Campbell steps, nearly got away there, but just not quite. Brayley himself wrapped up very well. They had Ponga on the short side. They had numbers there. Gamble kicks for himself and it ends up with Trifula. Still, I mean, not a bad place to turn it over at all. Coming off their goal line, and Gamble aiming up intensely in defence. Ball away now to Cody Nikorima. They are desperate. They're trying everything. Caleb, what's your next video going to be? A guide to the finals. Hopefully out at 3 p.m. tomorrow, if not 3 p.m. the day after. Marshall King can't find a way out of there, and they've got to try something on this play. They've got to spread it. They won't through Max Plath. They've got one left. Jesse Bromwich coming up for the final moments of his career, and geez, what a player he's been. A kick, I think Hammer was offside. He was offside. It is Red Rover. It's all over. Punga's smiling. The crowd is smiling. 2.5 minutes to go. Caleb, what webcam do you use? I use an iPhone. I use an app called Irion Webcam, which you install on your computer, install on your phone, and it allows you to use your phone as a webcam. Raiders and Dolphins season is over, says Tiger, and I agree. The Knights bench is smiling. And the party has started up there at McDonald Jones, at Hunter Stadium. Pete Finns needs a miracle. Raiders needs even more of a miracle. Caleb, what is the app? Irion Webcam, it's called. IRIUN Webcam. And they are just using up time now. Gagai being a bit of sportsmanship there. Gamesmanship, actually. Played by Brilliant. Elliott hits the ball hard. Wants to have one last final run at Jesse Bromwich. Frizzell now, and just conservative from Newcastle. I imagine they'll just hit it up here as well. Brodie Jones. Yes, he does. Potentially a little kick over the sideline here. Lancaster wanted to try in the last minute. Nah. So stops it. He does run back inside there, but no, he's taken down, and a minute to go for the Dolphins. They've got to spread it over. They're already shaking hands up in the coach's box. He says it's done. Herbie has a run, but they don't have time to just take hit-ups. They've got to try and throw the ball around and find some space. And they will hear their setup. Hammers out there on the wing. Avarillo steps back inside. Newcastle defense shutting them down very, very well here. Newcastle do make the finals in consecutive seasons. I didn't think they would. I thought they were well out of contention. Ball's at the back, and Bradman Best lands on the ball and can't quite get away. That would have been it. That would have, I mean, the game's over, but Newcastle would have gone wild, that whole stadium. 13 seconds left now. And a field goal attempt from Gamble, because why not? Has to go. Jack Cogger now out to Brad and Best. And he will just go up himself. Ponga nods. The job is done. The season is done. What a regular season. That's one of my favourite seasons ever, 2024. What a year. Knights do make the finals. It looked unlikely with a few weeks to go, but they do. What a season it's been. Long live the Newcastle Knights. as it rings out at the ground. Newcastle with an intense defensive performance. And the Dolphins do come crashing out of the finals for the second year in a row. Amazing. Danny's just come back. Finals, here we come, says JRP. Yeah, gearing up for it next week. It's going to be crazy. As I say, having this dental surgery on Thursday. So, don't know what the output of videos will look like. Don't know what the streams will look like in particular. But I'll do my best. I'll be here. Even if I'm just here slurring my words, being like, oh my God, the Storm, I've scored the try with half of my face just anesthetic up. I'll be here. That's how much I love you guys. But yes, Caleb used the robot voices of Stephen Hawking it. But look, it has been 4 hours of streaming for me. I am well and truly cooked. So I am going to end it there. Thank you, as always, all for coming along. It means the world. Keep an eye out on the community tabs. YouTube will recommend the streams to you throughout the week, probably. So that's how you'll know. If not, I'll announce them on Twitter. I'll announce them on Instagram. And I appreciate you all coming along. Let's go for the finals. And yes, get 3 p.m. tomorrow is when I'm planning for the video to come out on a guide to the finals. Make sure to all watch it. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you later.